I immediately thought about this piece that I called Mantis Grass Mandala. And ooh, it's a mummy tree ghost, but this is all fair use reaction content, and it's all alleged and for entertainment and educational purposes only. Ooh. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Tree Mummy Cinema. Hey. I can't do this intro seriously, but yeah, you know what to do. It's nice to see you here, and I'm like a micro YouTuber when I'm starting this, so you know, like, subscribe, leave a comment. That's my favorite thing. And hype, there's a new thing called hype, so you know what to do. Let's watch some stuff about confirmed aliens, yeah? Why not?
We are not alone. The Pentagon released the UFO files a few weeks back, and we just found out over 1 billion people have visited the site. 1 billion.
Whoa, hold on. My sincere apologies for how loud the footage from Fox News is in comparison to my voice, so you probably turned up the volume on your device so you can hear me, and now it's crazy loud. So, my apologies, and although it is not in my habit to speak loud all the time, I'll see what I can do, and I'll see when I can invest in an actual mic that is not a webcam. Thank you for your patience.
The War Department says more files will be released soon. UFO experts and top researchers have been investigating aliens for years. Their sources say dozens of crashed UFOs have been recovered, and what they found inside, shocking.
And do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have said
there are at least 4 types, 4 separate types. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talked to.
4 different types of life.
4 different types of life.
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails, like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall. We haven't seen the evidence, but Pete Hegseth says more evidence is coming, and there are a lot of believers in Congress.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
Releasing the files isn't easy. They've been hidden for years, and a lot of people want to keep it that way.
The problem we have right now is the deep state's fighting the president on release, and he kept his word, and I suspect some of our not so friendly comrades and some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of the information. It's about power, it's about control, and that's kind of what runs Washington.
So why is our own government fighting so hard to keep these secret? Well, 12 scientists have either gone missing or died. Now, we don't know if that's related, but people are scared to talk.
one I thought was going to do an interview, and then a couple days before sent me a message saying, after further consideration and long talks with my wife, I decided I'd be forfeiting my life if I participated in your interview. And I thought that was like very unsettling
yeah.
message to get, obviously, but also very specific word choice, you know, forfeiting my life.
Producer of The Age of Disclosure, the film that started to shake loose the
People are really scared now. After those, how many confirmed 11 to 13 scientists going missing? One of them was actually working on anti-gravity. Amy was her last name, was working on anti-gravity, and she also had a theory about Greys being us in the future. And she was being targeted with bioweapon. So, I mean, it makes sense why people don't feel like talking.
UFO files. All right, Dan, what have you heard about these different breeds of alien life?
Look, a number of the people I interviewed in my film, senior intelligence officials, went on the record saying that there have been dozens of crashed craft of non-human origin over the years, and elements of our government have recovered those crashes, and they've gotten out of that technology of non-human origin, and in some cases, non-human bodies that were on these craft. A number of the people in my film go on the record saying that the bodies were not all the same type, meaning there were multiple species.
Were the bodies alive or were they dead?
The people in my film talked about events where they were dead bodies, they were deceased bodies.
Okay, and there's a lot of speculation about the amount of UFO information we've been given on this first tranche. We expected more. We know there is more. Why do you think people inside the government are fighting so hard to release more?
Yeah, so the president gave his directive in middle of February, essentially instructing all federal agencies to declassify evidence of non-human intelligent life and UAP. What happened after that is the White House had to go get that evidence out of the hands of all these federal agencies, and they all for the most part pushed back. The people who have gatekept this information for 80 years, they don't want to share it. You know, they've gotten a lot of power and control over the years, and it's just frankly not human nature for people to want to give up power and control.
Yeah, that's the thing. Information has a lot of power, right? Keeping information is power too. I'm very interested in this Age of Disclosure movie. Would you like me to react to it? Because there is also a new Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day, that I hear a lot of people are commenting on. So maybe Disclosure Day by Spielberg as well. Because I keep on not watching people's commentary on it because I'm like, should I do it myself? And another thing is that how crazy that this disclosure, first of all, disclosure happening period, right? Through Trump administration, but also that it's on Fox News that we're listening about 4 confirmed species of aliens. It's kind of really cool. But it's difficult to believe because it's coming from mainstream channels, right? They're just like, for how long have they bullshitted us that it's like, oh, you're saying this? Oh, what's the agenda? What's the agenda? What do you guys think the agenda is right now? For the disclosure, is it distraction from something else? Just wondering. Allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, always.
So there's a tug of war happening behind the scenes. There are a number of other reasons guiding their desire to keep this secret, including a general belief that the public can't handle the truth. I would argue the public can handle the truth. I think my film shows that. People aren't watching it and jumping out of windows. They're curious and they want to learn more. There's also a general feeling that, a concern that they can't tell the American public what they know and don't know without also telling our adversaries and giving them some sort of advantage. But I think that that's not really accurate. I think our adversaries know we're not alone in the universe. They know we've been recovering craft of non-human technology, non-human origin. Saying it out loud wouldn't give them any new information.
Is there
Those base
also,
facts can be shared.
like, the credibility factor? You know, this is a government that's lied to us about a lot of things for a lot of years, and this was one of the big ones. You were called crazy if you even suggested anything like this. And now they're releasing files admitting that it was actually real. Are they trying to protect themselves, their own credibility?
Yeah, there's certainly an element of that. I mean, no one wants to take accountability. You know, a lot of people's lives were ruined over the years covering this up. A lot of careers were ruined. And, you know, one of the other concerns people who involved in keeping the secret have is the fact that they're worried about coming forward, sharing evidence they have, and then being punished for it, being treated like criminals. You know, and so there are members of Congress right now who are trying to put together amnesty language to give protections to these people so they can step forward more comfortably.
If they did end up releasing an image or a video of non-human life recovered from a craft, and they put that out there, what do you think the public reaction would be?
I mean, truthfully, I think this day and age, with the rise of AI, half the country would probably think it's an AI image and not real. That's why I think, you know, my film has moved the needle, because it's credible people putting their reputations on the line to share what they legally can, and there's real stakes to that. You know, I think it makes much more of an impact these days when we live in a time where everyone thinks everything they see online is fake.
Do you think the president's a believer? This weekend, he posted an image of himself walking down the tarmac with an alien.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. Look, I think he's learned the reality of the situation, that we're not alone in the universe. And, you know, I think this disclosure process is happening because he's put it in motion. I know, I just heard today from friends on the House Committee to Declassify Federal Secrets that there will be another 40 or so UAP videos declassified in the next 30 days. On top of that, key members of the cabinet are aggressively trying to find the most meaningful evidence within the federal agencies and branches of the military, so they can then decide what of that evidence can safely be declassified. And there's, you know, this is going to be a rolling process. It's going to be a rolling disclosure process.
I mean, we're seeing a video right now on the screen. I expect to see better quality videos. We've been hearing stories about craft that right degree angle, you know, things that just you can't even conceptualize flying that way.
That's the thing. The footage they released is like filmed on a what do they call it? Hold on. They filmed all of that footage on a potato, or I guess multiple potatoes, because the quality of released footage is all like this. Yeah. Like I'm reflected, so whenever I try to point, it's like the opposite direction. So yeah, it's all super blurred, old footage, I would say. And it's weird because I feel like we have better footage at this point. Like, what are we doing? But we're almost done with this one.
It's a humbling experience for the human race. That has to be a major issue here, almost a religious issue.
Yeah, look, some people say they worry it would negatively impact religion. I don't really personally see that. I think that, you know, all the world's religions will sort of fit this into their existing dogma in one way or another. And yeah, I think a lot of these arguments that society can't handle the truth and we're all going to be too shook up by this, I don't think that holds up at this day and age.
No, well, this presidency has been the age of disclosure, and I think we should just keep it going. The more we know,
absolutely.
I think we just have to follow the truth wherever it leads us. Everybody watch
absolutely.
The Age of Disclosure. It is eye-opening, to say the least. Thank you so much.
Okay, this Dan Farah guy is props. Big props to the dude. Thank you for your service, Mr. Farah. So, this is the kind of art I was creating, and I was known for between the years of 2013 to 2016, circa-ish. Back then, I lived in Vancouver, BC, and was very much influenced by West Coast New Age rave culture. I was creating art prints and putting these designs on clothing and doing all of this. And I wasn't quite knowingly defining the basis of these pieces because it was based on a photography process, which I would be happy to share in the future. But basically, when I heard about 4 confirmed species for aliens, I immediately thought about this piece that I called Mantis Grass Mandala. And I was always wondering why it was so much like the center there's a creature, and a lot of these pieces, they are creaturesque, which I think there's a word for finding faces everywhere. I will remember, I'll look it up for you, but let's zoom in so I can show you exactly what I mean here. So I'll replace my face here so you can see exactly what's going on. But yeah, do you see this creature in the middle? Looks exactly like mantis, and this is what people have described seeing. And there is a whole Reddit forum that talks about insectoids. Like, they're very common apparently, and which reminds me also of Men in Black. You guys remember? I think there was a insectoid debuted there. I grew up watching that movie, no wonder. It licked so much and kind of primed me for interest in conspiracies, but look at this. You see what I'm talking about? I'm still shocked a bit about the things that I was unknowingly channeling in my art, and how art is always about channeling, and this is just a part of that world. And I don't know, I can't tell if that's particular demonic or just, co-creation with the spiritual world and things that are just waiting there for someone to take them through their vessel in regards to vessel of art. And honestly, I had very hard time if I thinking about it in regards to, like, I think it was connected to those years of life when I was making this art and a little bit after. Not to say that it's necessarily connected, because being somewhat also popular would also put you in a public eye in a way that people could envy you, there's evil eye and whatnot. But sometimes I wonder if, like, me channeling certain entities unknowingly contributed to me being susceptible to really dark things that happened in my relationship with my ex. And yeah, trigger warning: if you have any history of domestic abuse or any abuse, physical, and you get triggered, click away. But going through this art pieces for the first time in a few years, I felt so many emotions come up because the ex-husband I had who loved this art piece, he actually strangled me. And I ended up having thyroid cancer and having my thyroid removed. And now I'm forever on meds for this. And as you probably guessed or know, thyroid is in the neck, so, and autoimmune condition that I was diagnosed at the same time is, a reflection of stress, as well as neck being strangled and then thyroid removed, cancer in the thyroid, all of this stuff is super connected. And I was going through a lot of emotional and psychological health issues, obviously, at the same time as well. So art you create, or everything you create, it gets influenced by things like that, right? So at first, when I pulled out this art, it was a bit difficult, but now it's dissociated, and I'm happy to associate this art now with this video and this channel. Looking back, at me being mid-20s and doing fun stuff, but unknowingly participating in, channeling certain entities. I just wonder if whenever you're channeling, and I heard mediums mention this, that it takes a certain sacrifice sometimes, or always, right? Because you're using a lot of energy to welcome this from outside. So I wonder if it took toll on my body, on my mind, on my relationships as well. Anyhow, however, I also think that this art carried me through some dark times, and having that as purpose and kind of inventing this certain format kind of made that part of my life extremely fun, while it was also very dramatic and, initiated certain issues that I am still dealing with and will be dealing with. It's what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I am grateful ultimately, because I do feel like some of the other entities that I was welcoming with sacred geometry are actually benevolent or positive, especially the way that I worked with them, like Metatron, Archangel Metatron, because I was very much into Metatron's cube back then, so we can talk about it some other time. Well guys, you heard it first. Aliens aren't taken as seriously anymore. There is other life out there. No? I don't know who still doesn't believe that. And if you don't, why? Why? Tell me in the comments, please. Tune in for part 2, because I will share some old school sci-fi alien art and some more reactions to videos about aliens. Are you coming for part 2? You bet. Thanks for joining me for this journey, and I hope you go and get to enjoy yours.
I guess you weren't even alive in 16.
Interesting job you guys have.